Hello babies and families. I'm Miss Jess and this is Babytime. Babytime is our story time for babies, which means not so much stories and more bounces and songs and tickles. But it also is our story time for grown-ups. Babytime is for you to sit and tune in to the songs and rhymes we're doing so that hopefully you can start to remember them and they can come back out when you have free time and playtime with baby. And then these are not just storytime songs, but they are just playtime songs for you and baby. And all of this repetition, whether we are repeating the rhyme in story time or you're repeating it again at home or at another time that's not story time, all of that repetition is just building up all these little patterns and things to help baby remember and help baby build expectations around a certain rhyme or a certain song or around a structure like story time. So it's all helping them learn and grow. That's really the bottom line. So so listen in, grown-ups, and participate. Grab your little guy. We're going to do a lot of hands-on. Since the little guys can't do a lot themselves, we're going to have you help them. And like I said, listen in, try to remember, tune into these words, and then you can feed them, spit them back out later when you are playing with baby, and that is how they are going to grow and learn. All right, we are going to start with our rhyme, our favorite rhyme. We're going to say hello. This is a hello rhyme we've been doing for quite some time now, a couple of years. So in fact, the babies who used to join me for this rhyme are all grown and they're all toddlers now. So these are ones that we can repeat that your babies can enjoy. We're going to start down here at the bottom. We're going to move up to the tummy and we're going to end on our head before we wave hello to our friends. So while we go through this song, you're going to demonstrate these motions and these parts so that baby can start to associate that word with that thing. All right? Say hello to your toes, to your toes, to your toes. Say hello to your toes. Hello, toes. And find baby's tummy. Find that yummy, squishy, soft tummy. Say hello to your tummy, to your tummy, to your tummy. Say hello to your tummy. Hello, tummy. All right, that tummy's all cozy and warm. We're going to move up to your head. All right, baby, you ready to find your head? Say hello to your head, to your head, to your head. Say hello to your head. Hello, head. And you can always throw in some other parts in there. You can get really tricky, go with shoulders and elbows and knees. Those are tough ones for guys, little ones to remember. You could do eyes and ears and nose, kind of a little baby version of our head, shoulders, knees, and toes. But let's take our little hands. Let's find our hands and say hello to our friends. Say hello to your friends, to your friends, to your friends. Say hello to your friends. Hello, friends. Not quite the same when we're all in our own spaces, but you guys can say hello to me and I say a big, big hello to all of you. So hello, friends. Now, I'm going to pop this out of the way and it's time for our first little bounce. We're going to give baby a little bounce on the knee, and when the rooster crows and flies off, just like imagine that rooster would be flying off his chicken coop, we can fly baby right through the air. So if baby loves to go fast, you can fly them up fast, just hold on tight, give them a quick little leap up in the air. If baby likes to go slow, you can do a little elevator ride. This is actually a good place to remind you all that if your baby's not entirely sure how they feel about flying through the air, if maybe that causes more discomfort than fun, you can have baby face you. And then even while they are having this little strange sensation of going through the air, they're also having the comfort of being able to look into you, into your eyes. So, so that's a thought. If you've got a little one who's not so keen on those lifts, try to have them turn around and then they can see you and feel a little bit more grounded, even while they are actually not at all grounded. So you can always give that a try. 1, 2, 3, baby's on my knee. Rooster crows and away he goes. Right up through the air, give a nice little fly. If you've got an older one who is maybe standing independently, starting to take a few steps, especially if you've got a big baby. My oldest was quite a big baby. So we got to a point where lifting was not so much a fun game for mom anymore. So if you have one who's ready to stand or have one who's really a big baby, maybe they can stand with you. And again, even facing you if they want to hold on to your knees. And you can just kind of help them kind of straighten up and maybe do a little, not quite a jump. I don't think they're ready to jump yet, but do a little hop up from where they are. So instead of flying through the air, if that's just going to be too much of a challenge, you can just help them pop up instead. All right, one more time. 1, 2, 3, baby's on my knee. Rooster crows and away he goes, flying through the air. All right, now we have been choosing to focus on a folk tale every week this summer. So the stories that we share have all been folk tales. And fairy tales are kind of a little special kind of folk tales. Usually they have some very specific format of how a fairy tale is supposed to go. So last week my folk tale was a fairy tale, and I've got another one for you this week. This is one that maybe your babies haven't heard yet. They're still pretty young, but it is often one of the first fairy tales that gets shared with kids. So grown-ups, I'm sure you are familiar with this one. You can retell this story along with me or after. This is one you can repeat to your kiddos because I know you know this one. This is Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood is called Little Red Riding Hood because her grandmother made her a beautiful cape with a red hood. And she loves it, loves it, loves it, and she wears it all the time. She never wants to take it off. So they call her Little Red Riding Hood. She loves her grandmother very much. And one day, her mother said, "Your grandmother's not feeling very well. I'd like you to take her a basket of goodies so that she can start to feel better and we can help take care of her." And Little Red said, "Oh, of course, I would do anything to help my grandmother." So her mother packed up a box, a little basket, and she sent Little Red off to her grandmother's house. And Little Red Riding Hood was, of course, wearing her cape with her red hood and carrying her basket. And on the way to grandmother's, she saw some beautiful flowers, and she said, "Oh, I might just go pick some of those to take to grandmother." Well, while she was picking those flowers, the big bad wolf came, and he said, "Hello, little girl, what are you doing?" And she said, "Oh, I'm just picking some flowers to take to my grandmother's house." And the big bad wolf said, "Oh, where does your grandmother live?" And Little Red said, "Well, just up the path and around the corner and then the next house." And the wolf said, "Oh, well, have a good day, little girl." So Little Red thought nothing of it. She picked her flowers, she put them in her basket, and she carried on down the road and around the corner to the next house, to grandmother's house. Well, when she got to grandmother's house, the door was open. And she said, "That's unusual. I thought Grandma was sick in bed." And she walked in and said, "Grandma, are you here?" And a little voice from the bedroom said, "Oh, I'm in my bed, dear." And Little Red set the basket on the table and went in to see her grandmother. Well, her grandmother looked out from under her bedclothes and under her nightcap, and she said, "Hello, dear." And Little Red said, "My, what big eyes you have, grandmother. You really must not be feeling well." And grandmother said, "Oh, all the better to see you with, my dear." And Little Red looked at grandmother and said, "You're looking rather hairy, and your ears. Oh, what big ears you have, grandmother." And grandmother said, "Oh, all the better to hear you with, my dear." And she looked again at grandmother and said, "I'm starting to get worried. What big teeth you have, grandmother." And the big bad wolf jumped out of grandmother's bed and said, "All the better to eat you with, my dear." Little Red was so scared she ran away down the path. And she came out to a woodcutter who was chopping trees in the forest. And she said, "The big bad wolf is chasing me and he ate my grandmother." Well, the woodcutter ran back to grandmother's cottage with Little Red, and they got grandmother out of the big bad wolf and put some rocks in his belly instead. And he never bothered them again. And this is a great board book version. This is actually a fun one to share with babies because it does have the thick cardboard pages, but it's also got these really cool cutouts. So as you are reading the story, you also can see through to some of the pictures on the next page. So this adds a different dimension to telling this story. That's kind of fun. There are a variety of different versions of that story, either different retellings or just the basic story with different illustrations. So if you are interested in looking into that, that is available at the library. You can check our catalog online, come on over to the library and check those out. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Little Red Riding Hood, one that a lot of us know. A lot of the, one of the early folk tales, fairy tales that a lot of children hear. Let's get these babies bouncing again. I think they're ready to keep on riding. Let's get them going. We're going to do another bounce where we have a little horsey ride on our lap. So we're going to trip trot. If you've been tuning in, you know this one is it's got a little dump. We've tipped the babies over on their side and then we've got a little fall. So if you're up on a couch or a chair, you might scooch yourself to the end and get your knees ready to part your knees and have baby fall down in. Okay, here we go. Trip trot to Boston, trip trot to Dover. Watch out, baby, or you might fall over. Oh no, baby, you fell over. Trip trot to Boston, trip trot to Lynn. Watch out, baby, or you might fall in. Zoop. You can pop that baby down. Of course, you want to have a good hold on them while you let them scooch right down and then pop them back up. All right, let's do that one again. This is one that you can bounce as wild and woolly as you like, as much as baby likes, or you can always do just a little gentle rock on your knees. If you've got a little, you can hold them in your arms and just do a little bounce this way so you can kind of pop them up and down if that's something that's comfortable for you. Trip, trot to Boston, trip, trot to Dover. Watch out, baby, or you might fall over. Oh no. Trip, trot to Boston, trip, trot to Lynn. Watch out, baby, or you might fall in. Boom. There they go. All right, that's a fun bounce. Usually gets some giggles, but tickles are always good too, especially for these, for the ones who like little pokes and tickles. So let's get another giggle going here. We're gonna go around the world to catch that bear. So you're gonna start big, and then as we go, you're gonna circle, 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 and find the little cave where we're gonna find that bear. All right. Around the world to catch a great big bear. Where will we catch him? Right in there. And you give that little tickle, 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 and hopefully you get some giggles in return. You can always tickle somewhere else. So if you always do this rhyme again and again and again, and you always tickle the tummy, maybe next time you might go in and tickle under the arms instead. Again, they have the babies start to learn this rhyme and they see the patterns, they see what's coming next, and so they have this anticipation, and if you mix it up on them, kind of sparks their brain and they say, oh, that was different, I didn't know that was possible. So again, a silly, fun game, but another opportunity for growth for your little guy. So, around the world to catch a great big bear. Where will we find him? Right in there. You can give a little tickle in somewhere, another spot this time. Okay, raisin bread. I do love this raisin bread, but of course it's a lot easier for me with Freddy Bear than with your baby. So hopefully, if you guys have been doing this one, you know if this works for baby or not. So if you want to join in, great. If this one is one that's a little more challenging for you, then that's totally okay to skip it. We're gonna roll baby over. So you wanna find a big open spot on the floor is best. If you do have a giant bed and maybe somewhere that you feel comfortable that you can roll baby safely over, you can do it there. Otherwise, you can just skip that part. You can lie baby down even somewhere on the floor, on your couch, somewhere smaller if you just want to kind of rock them back and forth. So you can roll baby that way, or you can just not roll baby. So, but let's get this raisin bread. We're going to roll it and then poke those raisins in. You roll it, you roll it, you roll it. You roll it, and then you put the raisins in, and you poke, 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 poke those raisins in the feet, in their hands, in their arms, poke those little raisins. All right, and then you have a yummy loaf of raisin bread all ready for nibbling. Nom, 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 nom. All right. I do like food. Maybe we can find some nursery rhymes about food. What do you think? I love nursery rhymes because they are great little baby-sized stories. Speaking of food, they're nice and bite-sized stories, right? So they are just right for baby's attention span, even if they won't quite sit still for a whole story. And if you have a book, a collection like this, which we have many of at the library, you can always check the catalog for those and then come in and grab one of those as well. Then you can also look at the pictures, and you can not just use the words of the nursery rhyme, but also look at the pictures and use words to describe what you see and different things there. So from the Nursery Rhymes of Mother Goose, illustrated by Scott Gustafson. And here's a yummy one. Yummy if you like spicy. Let's see how these pickled peppers go. Now, one thing I love about nursery rhymes is that they are short. They're bite-sized stories for babies, but they also often have rhyming. They have a lot of rhythm. This one has that, plus a bit of a tongue twister. So alliteration with all these p sounds in these words. Peter Piper. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many peppers did Peter Piper pick? That is a tricky one. It's not even so much a tongue twister, but boy, it's easy to get confused. So there's Peter Piper over in his pepper garden. If you're feeling adventurous, you can always try this one and try to go even faster. I'm going to keep it nice and slow, but we'll read it again. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many peppers did Peter Piper pick? Say that 10 times fast, or even 1 time fast. All right, and here's a familiar one that I think you all know, the Itsy Bitsy Spider. We're going to do this one, we can look at the picture for this one, and then we will do this one with your fingers. So if you're following along at home and you know how to do your little Itsy Bitsy Spider, go ahead and do that. The Itsy Bitsy Spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the Itsy Bitsy Spider climbed up the spout again. That spider's all decked out with his umbrella and his rain jacket. Those are the kind of details you can look for if you are using a book and following along with the illustrations. So regardless of whether you sing the song, you can just look at that picture and you can tell a story all in and of itself just by looking at that little spider with his 8 rain boots and his yellow rain jacket. So for the Itsy Bitsy Spider, of course, you can take your hands, make a little Itsy Bitsy Spider. But also with baby, you can always just crawl that little spider right up baby's arm. And you can go up and down, and it'll just start to introduce again. When they feel these touches, they start to, you kind of get the idea of a concept. Okay, this is up and that's down. So the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the spout again. So you can take those nursery rhymes, especially these that are little songs, and you can do motions with them. So that's another fun way to get baby engaged in all that. And when we get the scarves out, we know it's just about time to wrap up story time. So if you've got a nice transparent scarf of some sort, maybe even a printed scarf that you might have hanging around in your closet, that'll work really well. Anything with kind of these waving fabric and flying colors, lots of times that's just all it takes to kind of engage baby and get them interested and say, oh, what is that thing flying around up there? So good for peekaboo. If you don't have something that's big and transparent, you might try just a little washcloth, even just any bit of fabric, a baby burp cloth or something like that, that you can just kind of flap around and make different colors. also can do peekaboo with those. Sometimes it takes baby a little while. Again, depends on the age and kind of the level of your baby, but lots of times those are good for peekaboo too. Sometimes the ones that you can't see through are a little disconcerting for baby at first. So it's a nice transition to start with these before they understand that they can actually just take that off themselves and the whole world is still sitting out there waiting for them. But take what you've got, and we're going to start with our little Jack in the Box rhyme. So we're going to wrap it right up, squish, squish, squish that right in your hands, and we're going to do Jack in the Box. Jack in the box sits so still. Will he come out? Yes, he will. And you can just pop that right up for baby, and they'll say, hey, I knew that was hiding in there somewhere. If the rhyme is new to you, then that'll be kind of a little, whoa, what's that? You know, the first couple of times, but then once baby gets used to it, they'll start to expect that, and that they'll know that they're going to be looking out for that little pop. So, all right, now we're going to take that again. Let's do it one more time. Jack in the box sits so still. Will he come out? Yes, he will. Pop that right up in front of baby. And let's say goodbye. Now we're going to say goodnight when day is done, but this is our little goodbye rhyme for story time, and it's a nice one to wrap up your day or maybe wind down for nap time. So you make this part of your routine. Maybe you say goodnight when day is done and then you read a little book, or maybe you read your book first and then say goodnight when you actually lay baby down in their bed. But just something to consider adding in. It's a nice little quiet wind down kind of thing. So we'll cover up. Say goodnight when day is done. Hello, moon, and goodbye, sun. And you can just cover up slowly as you go through the first two lines. Open up to say hello to the moon and close again to say goodbye to the sun. And of course, this is another one. If it's kind of playtime and you're just goofing around, you can do it with the scarf. Or maybe even at bedtime if they've got like a little favorite little blanket. Just as long as, of course, you put that wherever you feel like you're comfortable with while baby's sleeping, but you could use that to do part of this rhyme. We say goodnight when day is done. Hello, moon, and goodbye, sun. And goodbye, babies. I will see you all right here next week. Hopefully you guys come on over, pick up some books at the library, get some new stuff to add to and supplement your story time, tell some stories, sing some songs, have fun. I will see you all right here next week. Bye.